This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
The following content is for adult audiences.
99X in the Morning X. It's Barnes. It's Leslie. We're going to talk about sex, Fram. Don't get uncomfortable.
But you say that. Like, how am I don't want to talk about sex with you. Can we talk about it with somebody else?
Absolutely. That's why we have our Morning X sex therapist, Samantha Heuwagen. Hello, Samantha.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
It's always good to have a sex expert nearby. And I wanted to have you on today because I was walking through the office and heard some people talking about something I had never heard of before, and I thought this would be a good time. And first of all, I was like, HR, they're probably listening in on you. This is not the place to have these conversations. It was like a little huddle.
La, 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 yeah.
And they were talking about, and I'll bring it up in a second, but what is happening on the sex scene? Because you do your thing here in Alpharetta, right?
Yes, my private practice is in Alpharetta, exactly.
And if people want to find you, what's the website?
SamanthaHeuwagen.com, or you can just search the the Sci-Fi Therapist, excuse me.
Sci-Fi Therapist.
Easy. It's better than learning my last name.
True, that's a tough one to spell, but if you want to give it a shot.
Yeah, Samantha Heuwagen. I wanted to ask you about this. I saw this in the New York Post, of all places, about a new sex trend that I'd never heard of before called shallowing.
What?
Shallowing, okay.
Yes, it says shallowing is a popular sex trend that has taken off. It's nicknamed outer course because it involves light sexual play at the entrance to the and without deeper
Hey, Leslie, Fram.
I'm looking at this.
Okay.
You're kind of shocking me with the fact that you're bringing this up. But
Well, I saw it in the New York Post, and I guess it was formally named a few years ago.
Oh.
What was your question?
If she had heard of it.
Shallowing?
I've heard of outer course. That is an actual thing. That's an actual thing.
Outer course?
Outer course is an actual thing. Yeah, where you can do whatever you need to do with the outer body. How's that? I know it's early in the morning. I got to watch what I got to say. But
Okay, so now it has a name, Barnes.
yeah, it's just rebranding to something more cuter than outer course.
A rebrand to cuteness. Okay.
It's rebranding.
The thing that I heard the girls talking about in the office, it's called micro romance. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
And apparently this is a trend this year. Like short term. Like the short term is back in. That's called, hooking up, I thought.
Yeah, me too.
But they were like talking about micro romance and that it's a thing.
I think it's deeper than just hooking up, especially if you're using the word romance. I think there's more connection, probably more of a relationship building. Hooking up, at least in my old age of millennialism, was just about sex and relationships in that fashion, not anything deeper than like the connection and building something. And then the short-term thing is new, because I guess I was under the impression in my practice and the people I work with that they wanted long-term partnership.
Right.
But maybe some people don't. That's okay.
And these girls were younger. Mm-hmm. Look, I kept walking very quickly because I didn't want to get into any trouble being involved in this conversation.
Okay.
I mean, is this a sign of evolving relationship needs? Like, is it dating fatigue? Like, why would it be the opposite of what everyone else's goal is to have a long relationship and not a situationship?
I wish I had something more positive. Off the top of my head, what I'm seeing in the trend of dating is people are really struggling to connect and find people that they jive with, right? And so I bet, again, if it's rebranding, it seems like the pressure would be off. I do believe people more than not want to have a long-term committed relationship. But what if they've been hurt? What if there's trauma there? What if they're just not finding the right people? So rebranding it into something smaller, more bite-sized, if you will, might be better for the ego and for the mental health.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. If people want to do that, let's do that.
Yeah, I think what you said earlier about maybe you got out of like a bad situation or, something that was traumatic.
Yeah.
And this is sort of easing back in. Maybe that's why it's...
Your rebound?
Maybe that's why it's called short. It's micro. It's short term.
Yeah.
Yeah, rebound, exactly. I know what you're saying, Barnes.
Well, that's what you described. What about protecting your kind of emotional well-being moving forward? Does that, I don't know. It just seems, if it's a trend, this isn't just like one person was like, oh, I'm going to rebound. This is...
I'm with you. That's why I'm like, I don't know how positive we can spin this one because it would depend on what the motive behind it is. If somebody's really going with the intentionality of, I just want to date, I just want to meet people, I just want to see what's out there, I don't want a long-term partnership, this could be perfect. This could be great. As long as you're telling the people you're dating, that is your expectation. But on the flip side, yeah, if it comes from a trauma place, a place where you just got out of a relationship and you're not transparent with your motives, it could be really nasty. I don't know if it would be good for long-term health.
Well, I hope they have it on in the other room. Okay, so we're talking to Samantha Heuwagen. Yeah, I know. Who is a sex therapist. And from your perspective, what's the most surprising or impactful sex or dating trend that you've observed so far this year?
Mm-hmm.
I think the conversation around consent is back and bigger than ever, which I don't know why it went out of fashion, but for a minute at the tail end of last year, a lot of people were fighting me on incorporating more consent, whether that be just like in the physical realm or just, hey, how are you? Can I talk to you about this? Or do you mind talking about this? Do you have space to talk about that? And I've seen this year it's been a turnaround where people are asking before they info dump, or before they go into any kind of physical relationship with someone. So that's really good. We want to see that. On the flip side, the thing that I'm seeing that, again, is not so great is the dating scene sounds so messy. It just sounds very...
Like how? Like in what way?
I think people desperately want to find someone and connect, whether it be romantically or platonic. Like people are looking for community, except for they don't know how to do that.
Well, it's hard. Who wants to do the apps,
Apps, even going out in the real world, talking to people. Some people, I don't think people know how to people anymore. So we're really struggling in that space.
We're talking to Samantha Heuwagen, of course, our sex therapist on the Morning X. Have you ever heard of holistic sexuality where couples are taking a less is more approach to sex?
I do know that the research is suggesting people are having less sex more than ever before.
Isn't that like more recent generations are like...
So yes, the Gen Z and younger are having less sex. That is true. But then as a whole, we're seeing a decline in sexual activity across the board.
And how does AI work into all this? Because you're seeing...
I knew that was coming.
No, it's serious. There are so many of these companion apps and now robots, and we chuckle and we laugh, but there are conventions around these things.
It's serious. Yeah, that goes back to I think people really want to connect, but they don't know how. And so I know I'm looking to the future being like, okay, if we can just go to these apps that are not real, these AI things that are not real, are we missing the point entirely? That's what I worry about for the future.
So there's less on the line. So you're saying that people may peel off and want to go that route because they don't have to worry about being rejected. They don't have to worry about really anything.
Exactly. So I call it in my neck of the woods the fantasy narrative, right? So you are the director, you're the producer, you're the assistant, you're everything. You don't actually have to deal with another human being that has all those qualities inside them. You just get to just download it into a program, tell the program what you want and what you expect, create the scenario, and onwards and upwards. There's no challenging.
This is so scary.
Yeah, I know. Today's episode brought to you by Bleep.
I don't know about that terminology. You just download it into the... Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
If you would like to find Samantha, tell everyone again how to find you. Sex therapist up in Alpharetta. The sci-fi... What do you search?
The Sci-Fi Therapist, or you can visit me at my website, SamanthaHeuwagen.com.
Awesome. Always great to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Fram, do you feel all caught up on sex?
Maybe. Thank you.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back.
I think the boundaries are getting a little unboundaried, but that's fine.
From relationships,
it's grabbing coffee with your friends. That
hey,
is
right up my alley.
Right?
To business and beyond.
Where there's history, true friendships, but it's fine. I've also been a rat.
I'm obsessed with her. I hate her. Literally the exact same feeling.
If you really want to party,
you have to have the perfect combination.
Give them Lala. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.